Hey everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Romaine, Calm, and Carrot on at the grocery store. Although we're not
We're
at
not
the
really
grocery
at the
store.
clearly.
But we're going to be talking about grocery store shopping, hopefully help give you some tips, just all those type of things with grocery store planning and doing better at the grocery store. So as always, we're going to give it a few minutes just for a couple people to join in. I probably haven't introduced myself. Sorry. I'm Catherine Langlois, one of the dietitians here, and
I'm Laura Vadreen, the other dietitian here on the care team.
yeah. So welcome in. Of course, drop any questions, suggestions, things like that in the comments as we start talking. And we're going to go through some of our usual tidbits we go through at the beginning. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a whole bunch of things on the YouTube channel, social workers, some of our medical directors talking. But Laura and I have a healthy eating playlist with some videos at the grocery store, in a kitchen, some things like that. So check out our playlist. Is this you? Then no, sorry, me again. Yeah, and then our care team. Of course, we're part of the care team. We're with social workers, pharmacists, nurses, big old care team, just trying to help Louisianians better their health. So hopefully everyone gets some good tips today. And I think we're going to dive right in with a little true-false question to start us off.
Okay, so true or false? Brown eggs are more nutritious than white eggs. And the answer is false. The eggshell color actually has no impact on the actual nutritional content of the egg. So choose the color of your preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I wish we were in the grocery store. I was thinking about cost comparison is what came up.
Because they're definitely, I think brown are definitely more expensive.
So
because you think they're like free roaming in your backyard. And they're not always brown if they're free range. Like I've gotten some eggs from like a friend that did it, and some of them were white. They have like feathers still.
Oh yeah, some of ours are like light blue. They're really pretty. But yeah, they're legit free roaming eggs.
Yeah, are the same. So
and everything's the same.
Okay, send us some questions. I think she already said that. I know we already got one before we even started, so I'll kind of just slip it in at some point throughout the presentation. But we love the questions. We want to make sure that we cover what y'all need us to cover. So, okay, so let's start with the food label. This is kind of like, I was going to say the Bible, but maybe like it's very important. It kind of tells a story. It's there for a reason, and so we really encourage you to look at it. Even if it's after the fact. So sometimes I'll find myself buying something, being totally taken by the claims that are on the outside, because marketing works, right? So look at the back of the food product. There is a label there, and it is there for you to guide you on how to choose which products are better for you. So this is kind of geared to, like, we had a change in the food label a couple years ago. They made some modifications to it to improve it, make it a lot more user friendly.
Which it is if you compare the two side
really
by side.
Is. Yep. So starting at the top, the first thing we want to look at is what is the serving size. And let's just pretend this is cereal. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll go with cereal. It says 2/3 cup. The number, this 55 grams in parentheses, is basically pointless. I have a lot of people that will think that's the carbs. That would be like very.
I'm assuming weight.
It is the weight of the 2/3 cup, yes, but it doesn't really matter to us because we're not using that. We're using the 2/3 cup. So then the calories. And then you have your nutrients listed here, and then you have a percent daily value. So I personally go straight to sodium and total carbohydrates. This 1000% depends on what is your health status, what are you trying to focus on? Do you have diabetes? Do you have cardiovascular disease? Do you have hypertension? So it kind of depends on the person and what they're looking for. So we do have total fat, and then it's broken down into saturated and trans.
I believe they do. Newer one.
I think I don't know. I feel like it's been there.
One of the fats was added. I feel like I saw.
They usually will have like monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and then saturated, and then trans. So we want 0 trans. For the most part, I feel like that's happened. We know the science has proved trans fats are bad, so I feel like most of them have gotten the trans fats out. You can always, it's not on here, but you can always reaffirm that by looking at the ingredient list. So, because if it can say 0 if it's got a certain amount, and I think it's like point something. But so if it's got a little bit, but you're eating the whole container, and it said partially hydrogenized oil, then you know that you're getting some trans fats. Cholesterol, I think dietitians fought really hard to get this removed completely because we know that cholesterol in the food is not necessarily equate cholesterol in our blood values. I read something that there was several debates on whether to keep this or take it, so I don't really put much emphasis into the total cholesterol. Sodium is a big one. So just to kind of give you the numbers. So the goal for per day is 2,000 milligrams. If you eat 3 meals a day, that would look about 660 milligrams per meal. And then we know if something is considered low in sodium, it's got 140 milligrams per serving. So this is 160, so it's pretty dang close to low sodium. The one thing that I do use this percent daily value is for sodium. So this is based off the recommendation for the day. I think it's like 2,300, not necessarily 2,000.
Because they updated it because people are eating more.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this says 7% of your day's intake based off that recommendation. So that's not much. But so let's just say this was, it's kind of hard to do hypothetical, but it just depends. Just look at this in relationship to what it's contributing to your meal. If it's a high percent, like 30%, but it's your whole meal, then that's okay. But if it's 30% and it's a snack, that's not really a good choice. So then we look at total carbohydrates. I always tell people it's the number right behind the E in carbohydrate. Okay, so 37 grams of carbohydrate for 2/3 cup. Typically for women, the goal is 45 grams or less per meal. For men, it's 60 grams or less per meal. I really don't use these numbers unless I'm comparing two products. So I'm comparing apples to apples. I have two types of crackers. I have two types of breads. They both have about, let's say they both had 37 grams of carbs. It would be 15 grams per slice for the slice of bread. And one had 4 grams of fiber and then one had 2 grams of fiber. Well, we would know that the one that had 4 grams would be a better choice. You could say the same thing for the total sugar. So one of them had 12 grams of sugar per slice and one had 5. Obviously, the one that has 5 is better. So you can use these as you get specific on identical products. And then the grams of protein. And then they added the vitamins and minerals to the food label as well. And so that's helpful too. Okay, so that was kind of fast, but that's the food label. Again, always use it, even if it's after the fact. I don't recommend anyone throw their stuff away, but if it's not really where you want it to be, then just know the next time you want to try to find another product that does meet your numbers closer to what you're looking for.
Okay, so here is a little bit about food label claims. Like Laura was saying, marketing works. And so definitely what? Was it the 90s, the Snackwell we were talking about with the low-fat craze and all that? I remember we had Snackwells at the house because they were low-fat cookies, but what did that really mean? I mean, there's still sugar and stuff. So here's the different claims. So reduced fat is, of course, 25% less fat than the original. Light is now 50% less fat than the original. And low fat contains 3 grams or less of fat for the serving. So I like this picture because we have our salad here with all kind of vegetables and goodness, protein, avocado, things like that. Maybe there's a dressing underneath or you can drizzle some, but then here's probably some sort of Cobb type of salad covered in ranch. So it just kind of defeats the purpose of that salad when you're coating that much ranch. So I had looked up the nutrition facts for ranch because there's definitely regular and light. So I have it down here, but for 2 tablespoons of regular ranch, we're at 14 grams of fat. And then once you do the light, it's 5 grams of fat. So there is a difference. Again, it's just 2 tablespoons. This is probably, I don't know, half a cup. Then also for calories, so the regular ranch is 120 versus 60 calories for the light. And the carbohydrates are pretty much the same. There's 2 in the original and 4 in the light. So they might have added some sugar to it to make it taste decent. I haven't had light ranch, so I don't really know how it tastes. But we're usually people that get the original of things and just watch the portion. We know obviously ranch isn't the healthiest. So again, our salads usually don't look like this. Might be like this. So that's just, again, a good way to compare nutrition facts of certain things, and it doesn't mean just because it's lower in fat per se that it's 100% better or that it's calorie free or carb free. So,
but if you do like your dressing like this, then it definitely serves to go the light, because I mean it is half 60 calories.
yeah, you save
So you
for
can
sure.
I mean you could have the 4 tablespoons
double.
and get what you get for the original. So it kind of depends on how you like your salad.
But try not to.
But if you are, Catherine.
Okay, it's better than a hamburger. So. Okay.
Okay. So I totally put this to call my mother out because I went in my mom's pantry and she had reduced fat wheat thins, and I was like, that's so cute, because she's kind of still stuck in that low fat. And again, it kind of depends on what your goal is. If you're trying to lose weight, then calories do count, and so it is something that you want to be mindful of. But just to compare it, so like if you automatically pick these up, but you're like, I don't really even like them, then look at what does the original have, and you'll see, man, it's really not that big a deal. So the serving size, both 16 calories, 20 calorie savings for the original, total fat 1.5 grams difference, total carbs exactly the same, fiber is the same, added sugar is basically the same, protein is the same. So really, you're saving 20 calories. I don't know. I like wheat thins. I like the regular ones. I eat a lot, so maybe if I'm eating the whole box, then maybe it starts to add up, and it's the savings helps. But again, it kind of just it's deceiving.
That's what I think the problem is. I think when people buy low fat, then they think they can have more. But
Right.
again, I mean, if you're having
16 is a decent amount.
16 is a decent amount, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't save you much. So if the taste doesn't matter to you, like, I mean, of course, yeah, it's 20 calories, but I'm trying to think of something else where it's reduced fat, and I think people just think you can still, like light Cheetos versus regular. Like, we still can't eat a whole bag. You can't just open it and go to town. It's still calories.
Right.
You might save some, but I mean, we'd still much prefer healthier, non-processed options. So.
Right. Definitely. Yep. So this is Kat.
This is me. Oh, sorry. Okay. Percent daily values. Okay, more on, I guess, the food label and all that type of stuff. Laura touched on this earlier. But if something's low source of a nutrient, then it's 5% daily value or less. If it's a good source, it's the 10 to 19. And if it's a high source of a certain nutrient, it's 20 or above. Now, this kind of goes into play with, like, what are we looking at? So I'm going to start with, let's do the sodium, because I like the sodium. These are the Smokehouse almonds that are a personal favorite of mine. I feel like I've talked about them before in some of these videos. But it's only 7% daily value for 28 nuts. So I love to tell my patients about them because it doesn't mean that you have to eat a plain, boring peanut. If you have high blood pressure, you can still get some flavored nuts. So 7% for 28, because 28 nuts is a good amount, I personally think. Mm-hmm. So carbohydrates, 2. So there's only 2% daily value of carbs, but you're getting 10% fiber. So that number's good. So again, it just kind of goes to show fat is 20%, but then saturated is 6. Again, this is considered a healthy fat because we have some of those monounsaturated fats. So our saturated fat is down, but the good fats help drive that number up. So again, there's certain reasons why, things might be good or bad. You just got to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, so I think even like the potassium, like especially like a high source, when I think of this, I think of like someone who's trying to get potassium or calcium in their diet. It's really helpful. They've added these, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
We cut off some because it was just too long of a list, but I forgot there was another nutrient down here that showed even higher than 50%.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, if you're trying to really focus on your minerals, it's a great way this is really helpful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So ice cream. We're looking at Bluebell, no sugar added versus just the regular. So the serving size for both of them is the same, 2/3 of a cup. And then I'm just going to go to sugars because that's kind of what this is about. So the total carbs is 24 grams. Oh, right. Okay. The sugar claims are coming up across the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's sugar-free, it has less than half of a gram of sugar per serving. And if it's no sugar added, it just means that they haven't added sugar back into the product. So I had a man yesterday that was telling me that he was eating his sugar-free apple pie. And I just was like, that it's still apples and pie crust, right? So there's still very much carbohydrates there. They didn't add any sugar when they made the pie. They used a Splenda or a stevia or whatever the artificial sweetener they had. So sugar-free or no sugar added, or even like sugar-free, if it's in pie, hello, it's carbs. So just don't be taken like I am often with the marketing. Okay, so 2/3 cup of the no sugar added, 24 carbs. For the regular 2/3 cup, 27. Not a huge difference.
Wait, what's the serving size is 2/3?
The same.
2/3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So total sugars in the regular is 26, so it's pretty much all sugar. Mm-hmm. Whereas the total sugars in the no sugar added is 8. And so they've got sugar alcohols, and I'm not like those.
It said includes 0 added sugar, but it has 5 grams sugar alcohol.
Okay.
Is what it says. So that number takes into account. Look at the fiber. I'm just gonna say that's kind of bizarre. It's high in fiber.
Yeah. Talk about. This is probably inappropriate, but bathroom issues with artificial sweeteners, sugar, alcohols, dietary fiber. That's big, right? So just know that it's probably not your metformin. It's probably the no sugar added ice cream. I don't know if that was appropriate or not.
You can.
Sorry.
I know. I wanted to put up some of the comments from the sugar-free gummy bears off of Amazon, but I'm sure people have heard about it. But go check it out before you buy them because it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real deal.
Because I think people think they can eat more, and the sugar alcohols do not make your stomach happy.
No.
So.
Yep. So
portion control
is vital with this. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna choose it, it's a better choice. It depends, though. I mean, if it makes your stomach hurt then it's not. Then just go with a real thing, and just know that you need to be conscious of how much. And even the little individual cups are helpful. I'm a big proponent of individually portioned treats because I think it just really keeps you accountable to your serving sizes. So they do have those little birthday cup type, that we have at birthdays a lot. Yep. Or even they have a bunch of popsicle, individual popsicle type things too.
Yeah.
So, okay,
this is me. Okay, so grocery shopping tips. A huge thing is always go with the list. I think another big thing is don't go hungry, right?
Yep.
But always go with the list instead of just scanning the aisles and thinking you might need this, you might need that. This kind of takes meal planning into play. If you, of course, plan out your meals, think about what you need for the chili or the gumbo or whatever you're cooking. You can have that list. So it's important to keep a running list. If you running low on, I don't know, the salad dressing, and you might forget it there, at the store. But of course, keeping that running list of things you need, and then of course trying to plan the meals and having the meal planning. Also check what you already have before going to the grocery store. If you're making a taco soup and you already have cans of beans and corn or things like that, you could maybe save a little bit and use those up, and then next time you need that. Grocery pickup is a great thing. I really liked it. I am not a big fan of grocery shopping. So I love doing grocery pickup, and it's easy. I mean, you don't get extra things. You get exactly what you need. And then, of course, if I forget something or they're out of stock, I can go to a different grocery store or one closer to my house or something that isn't a superstore like Target or Walmart. But I'm a huge fan of pickup. So that's really our biggest thing with that is the list, keeping the running list and pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? So
Yeah, I think just having a list is vital, and I think it kind of prompts you to sit down and meal plan. So if you're going to the grocery store, it kind of I'm always like, what do we need? And no one ever knows what we need. It's amazing. But as soon as I walk in the door, they need something.
Yeah, like, did you get milk? And I'm like, well, I didn't know we were low on milk. So things like that. Do you want to touch on questions now?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take this one just because it's related to the sugar alcohols that we were just talking about. So is it good for you? It depends. It's a alternative to sugar, and so it allows us to have foods that have fewer carbohydrates. So it's is sugar alcohol good for you? Yeah. So I think I'm like, that's what I just said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's not bad. It's something that you want to be conscientious of not taking in too much at one time. So it's basically it's not a artificial sweetener. It's a carbohydrate molecule that they've kind of manipulated to where it is not absorbed in our body, and so it's
just why
it comes out, right? So it just gives you the opportunity to have it's in ice creams, it's in pastries, it's in pies, and that type of thing to keep the carbs down. So
it's not that
it's not bad, but it's not something that you want to eat a lot of.
Yeah. As always, I feel like natural is best. Like, I try to tell people a baked potato is in its most natural form. I mean, a baked potato is great versus maybe these processed fries, or a piece of fruit is better. Yeah, instant. A piece of fruit is in its most natural form. I mean, rice, they're just getting the rice. Of course, I understand once we make red beans and rice and cornbread, the carbs add up, but most people aren't diabetic from eating too much just rice, so, but how she was saying with the processed stuff, I mean, it's not that they're bad, but it's not that it's good, like having fresh.
Right.
Fresh is still best.
Yep, definitely. Okay, so the list, so meal planning, I think that was it.
Yep.
Okay. So we're actually in the grocery store now, and we always talk about, everyone knows, like, shop the perimeter. I love this one. Half of your basket should be fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll kind of go through just some of the different sections of the grocery store. So we'll
and how the perimeter isn't
always the best. Like, there are we'll kind of get through to the aisles, because the aisles has some good stuff too. So dairy. Dairy is definitely one of those big words as far as, like, inflammation, and there's a lot of people that are kind of trying to cut back on dairy. Dairy has a place. These are just some examples of, whole fat dairy might not be, again, depending on what you're going for. If you're, calorie wise, there are lighter versions, so you can choose to save on some calories.
1% chocolate milk. I mean,
yeah, I feel like if you're doing chocolate milk, you should go lower fat because the sugar is high, versus the regular. We drink whole milk just because I have small kids, and we were talking earlier. It's hard to I know that, like, as an early dietitian, I always used to say no one should be drinking whole milk unless they're under the age of 2. Well, we're over the age of 2, and we still have whole milk in our house. So it's a lot easier said than done when you're actually living it. But I think, and Kara behind the scenes was saying it's 3% whole milk versus 2% versus 1%. So you're talking about, like, 1%. I never looked at it that way, and I thought that was very insightful. So you can do 2% and still save fat and calories.
And it doesn't have to be skim. I think people think they need to go
it doesn't
all
have
the
to be
way.
skim. And a side point is that regardless of whether it's whole or skim, it's still 12 grams of carbohydrates.
Yes.
So it doesn't change the carbohydrates at all. It's just the fat and calories that are changing in your dairy.
Yeah.
So yogurt is good. Everybody asks about yogurt. I like yogurt. I don't eat it personally because it doesn't fill me up. So I'm kind of a big proponent of, like, eating, getting full, and then moving on. Catherine does like yogurts
as a snack.
As a snack,
I eat it as a snack since
it's healthy. I mean, it's
190
calcium.
calories. Yeah, perfect.
And the Chobanis have a little bit more of that protein, so it is a lot more filling.
Yeah.
Okay,
meat. So, of course, meat's in the perimeter, but, we have our high-fat meat, and then we go to the leaner meats. So we just have the things that you want to limit. Of course, we have bologna up here, the hot dogs, bacon, your meat with a lot of marbling. Of course, I guess these three are really high in salt. So for our blood pressure people, yes. I mean, you really want to try to limit those. Of course, the fat adds up in those too. But so here's a few other options. Of course, chicken, white meat and dark meat is both perfectly fine. We have turkey breast here. Turkey, deli chicken is a little bit more, is lower in salt. That's the word I was trying to say than say the bologna. And here's some turkey sausage breakfast links. So it could be a better protein choice in the morning than your bacon. Eggs are great for protein too. So we filmed a few little videos at the grocery store, and we're gonna put a short little video up of Laura and
Hey, we're in the grocery store in the meat department. When we're talking about meat with beef, you always want to try to choose a cut of meat that's going to have the least amount of marbling. The marbling, you know, is the white sections. We know this is where all of our saturated fat comes from. So whenever you're selecting a cut of meat, go with the least amount of white meat you can see. When you're talking about ground beef, you want to try to choose the one that's got the highest number, so 90-10 versus an 80-20. You can use ground turkey instead of ground beef if you want to even lower your fat or saturated fat further. When you're doing things like tacos and spaghetti, there's so many flavors that are involved, you probably can get away without even noticing the difference. We know that seafood is always going to be a great choice with regards to saturated fat, so choose your seafood as much as you can.
All right. Okay. So
I just want to throw in pork tenderloin is also super lean, good choice. People think pork and bad, but pork loin, those little tenderloin things, we've shown a couple of them. We love them. They're easy. They're good. Good
That's
choice. Great. Okay, so produce section. For the most part, all produce is fabulous. Go for it. Choose it. There are some sections in a lot of grocery stores that have like these little like specialty type things,
toppings, but
it makes you feel like they're healthy because they're in the produce section. So don't be fooled. Use the food label again. But like the banana, like all the dried fruits, yes, they're healthy, but I mean, eat a banana.
They're not sugar free,
right?
Yeah.
These this is really good, but
the blue cheese.
just know that they're high in calories. It's pretty dense blue cheese. The juices, I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm kind of a juice Nazi. I don't recommend that people drink their fruit, eat it, get full. These bacon bits don't even look attractive to me, but just stay away from it.
They're tender and juicy.
Yeah, that's not, yeah. I think croutons are fine, but just use them, you know. If you're going to go in for like a salad and you're going to have croutons, you know, just kind of be conscious of how many you're putting on your salad.
Or loaded with veggies.
Correct. Okay, so we have one more little short video of Catherine in the produce section that we'll play right now.
A common problem that we find is people struggle to choose a vegetable to go with their meal. So this section is great. There is a whole lot of prepackaged salads. Of course, you can always make your own too. We have some spinach down here with mushrooms and some shredded carrots already. There's also things like tomatoes and an avocado you can put on the salad. The things we want to limit are heavy on things like croutons, maybe some bacon bits, things that are high in a lot of fat and sometimes carbs. The other thing that's good in this area is there's chopped up broccoli and cauliflower that last a couple weeks, and you can stick that in the microwave to steam or in the oven to roast, and that's an easy side, and they're already chopped up for you.
All right, so that was the perimeter. Let's go to the middle and let's see what we can find in the aisle section of our grocery store. Not all is bad, contrary to what we've heard. Okay, so there's some great, the cereal aisle is ginormous, right? Oh my Lord, today there are so many different cereals out there. It is crazy. In there are a lot of different oatmeals. These are fine. They're easy. They're quick. It's good, right?
Grits, even. I'll push grits. It's
Yeah, I
not
think
like
grits are
added
fine.
sugar like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. You know, it's still a breakfast item.
Yeah.
And
So
they have
these are
individual.
better just because of the fiber,
Yes,
and you don't have to
sorry.
put salt and butter in them, right? So in grits, you have to put. I mean, there are a few like lone soldiers that kudos to you that can eat grits without salt, but I cannot.
Yeah.
So that's why I typically push oatmeal versus grits.
100%. I just don't
There are some brown rice that you can, the little boil-in bags or like the minute. Yes, it's processed, but you have to think about the bigger picture. We're grocery shopping so that we don't eat out, right? That is ultimately our goal. We need to grocery shop because no one's, like if you don't have the food in the house, then no one's eating, obviously. And like, I'd rather it be, healthier and quick than fries. Quinoa is, there. We have our smokehouse almonds that we love so much. The seasonings are here. The seasonings are crazy also. They have a ton of wonderful, great new varieties and mixtures, and it makes it easy. We went on a little grocery store tour once, and they were recommending Slap Your Mama because it didn't have like the caking agents in it, whereas Tony's does. We're not promoting one or the other. That's kind of just why I put that in there. Nuts, awesome. Different oils. They have avocado oil, olive oil, pecan oil. So there's some great things on those aisles.
Okay, some more aisle finds. Of course, vegetables. Even though these aren't all vegetables, remember our carbohydrates, peas and corn. So those are our carbs. Then we have green beans. There's canned carrots, asparagus, other
Beets.
things like that you can, beets 100%, that you can keep shelf stable for a while.
Canned green beans are better than no green beans.
Yes, fresh, frozen, canned. Yes. So now frozen. Here we have the Green Giant. I mean, I have never made mashed cauliflower because I'm not a cook and I don't like to grocery shop. I don't know what's wrong with me. But so I have got the mashed cauliflower frozen. It's delicious. I mean, I think it tastes very, very good. We've done the veggie tots in my house. When I don't cook or when I barely cook, I will not chop an onion. So I buy the seasoning blends pre-made. Of course, there's frozen, there's the fresh. But Bird's Eye, Green Giant, Pick a Sweet, all these brands have so many good frozen vegetables. One has these roasted zucchini strips with like the grill marks on it. I buy frozen Brussels sprouts, toss in some seasonings, olive oil, bake it. Easy. So if you want to like buy some things, if there's a sale or all that, you can rack up on some frozen veggies and stick it in the freezer.
Yep. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Jesus Louise. Me. So we're doing, these are just some different frozen. So Catherine and I are like, we're going to become Sandra Lee. We don't know it
And
yet.
I said it was from HGTV on the other video, but I totally meant Food Network.
Yeah, so we're huge proponents of semi-homemade, not the show, but just the concept of it. So have some meatballs frozen, you boil your pasta for maybe 15 minutes, you open a jar of ragu, you have a meal with your frozen green beans.
With a side of vegetables,
yes. These tilapia fillets are so easy to defrost. You take them out like that morning, you get home, you can cook them in the skillet with some lemon and lemon pepper, super easy. I like turkey burgers when I get tired of lunch meat, or I'm a sandwich fan. I'm sure y'all have heard that before. Sometimes I'll throw on a burger and cook that for lunch instead. There's a ton of cauliflower pizza options out there. Don't have one to favor. That was a picture that I found, but those are a great way to get your carbs down and still have the pizza. And they're really good. I mean, they're crunchy and they're
I see
great.
you didn't put my frozen dinners on this slide, but
Sorry.
Frozen dinners too.
Frozen dinners too, yeah.
Because that's my lunch option. I know she likes her sandwiches. Okay, more grocery shopping tips. So avoid the convenience store. Again, that kind of goes back to the meal planning, seeing what you have on hand. You're trying to make one big, large order as much as possible instead of these quick little trips. And of course, these corner stores, gas station, convenience stores, drug stores. I mean, there's not a lot of fresh food in there, so a lot of it will be super processed type of foods that you might be grabbing. The store generic brands are perfectly fine. I mean, Equate, Up and Up from Target. I don't know if Albertsons or Winn-Dixie has a brand, but
Signature.
Yeah, I mean, Costco has Kirkland's. I mean,
Yeah.
all these places have their generic brands. Why not get that mayo then Blue Plate or whatever it's called? So, and then shop sales. Again, Albertsons, all these places that you can get the flyers, or if you're at another grocery store, you see that their pork chops are going to be expiring in a couple days, so now they've reduced the price by $3. I mean, if that wasn't in your meal plan, maybe buy it and you can freeze it, or buy it and maybe change up
Your
what
protein.
you're going to have.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's simple like that, but shop sales, shop generic, and of course try to buy it all together as much as possible instead of all these little trips.
Shop the season. So like we're coming up on Satsumas, apples, fruit-wise, that's a great time to buy those fruits because they're going to be less expensive. And we're saying all this because everyone, probably 90% of the people that we talk to tell us that it's too expensive to eat healthy. And so we try to squash that as quickly as possible. While I have, for some reason, the convenience store made me think about the question that we got for celiac and type 1 diabetes. I assumed the question was geared towards like quick fix for if you feel like your sugar is dropping.
The question was celiac and type 1 diabetes, what should I always have on hand?
Right. So like bars, there's Lara bars, it's Lara, and then there's RX bars. Those are both great. I like the RX bars. I think Catherine likes the Lara bars. There's gluten-free. So those are things you can keep in the glove compartment. Peppermints, great thing for your purse, always. And then if you're at home and you're just trying to find some carbohydrate sources, obviously fruit, it's gluten-free. It's a great place to go for your carbs. So I just wanted to address that before we forgot. Okay. So now, so we're talking about costs, right? So again, the cost thing is something that is continuously brought up. So let's look at what does it cost to have something that you've gotten from the grocery store because you were on it, you had your meal planned, you got your list done, you went and got all your groceries from your grocery store pickup, you're coming home, we're gonna have tacos tonight. So this is my grocery list. I have ground beef, the taco kit, the shredded lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, some black beans, and an avocado. All of this will serve about 4 people, $20. So we're looking at what, $5 per meal versus let's go to Taco Bell and we can get the chicken quesadilla combo for $6, 3 country tacos for $6. It's almost $7 with tax and stuff. So nutrition-wise, so much healthier. Cost-wise, it's a dollar less. It's $5 versus, let's just call it $7. So like $2 less. That's huge. Healthier.
You're getting avocado, beans. That's not on here.
Yep.
Lean ground meat.
Yep.
So yeah, health-wise, like you said.
And then some of this might be even cheaper if you can catch a sale.
Well, yeah.
Crazy. All right.
Okay, so burgers. All right, I push people. Come on, let's whip out the grill, whip out the George Foreman. We still got them, and have a burger at the house. So this is some pre-made burgers, a 12-pack we found. We got buns, cheese, the lettuce, tomato, onion, and some frozen fries. Total is $28.18. Since it's a 12-pack of burgers and a 12-pack of buns, we put serves 8 to 12. Maybe someone might eat 2.
So I did the math. It was $3.50 for 8. That's just I went with the lower end. So let's say we served 8 people. It was $3.50 versus.
Do your clicker so we can show how. Oh gosh. Ta-da!
Hello. So beautiful.
It would look beautiful. So then we have the Dave's
number one
for $7. Excuse me.
Or we have Dave's number 12, which is the avocado BLT chicken sandwich for $9. And the calories, we didn't do the calories on these, but significantly different, right? I love the frozen fries. You can pick up and say, okay, I want 12 fries. So I can just bake 12 fries. Whereas when you're going to the fast food place, you're getting the large. And I mean, you might not eat them all, but the reality is that you probably are. So you can save a lot of calories as well. Okay, so we've pushed this so many times. Healthy plate. It's really the easiest way to set your plate up for success. So I tell people that I really legitimately do this at night, every night. I fill up half of my plate with my vegetables first, and then I put my meat, and then I put my starch. And it's just an easy way to keep it from like, I'm on a diet, I have to measure my food out. Like, you don't have to do all that because there's only so much left over if you've done the vegetables and the protein first. So it's a quick, easy way. And it also, if you're getting into the habit of doing this, it ensures you that you have that vegetable already prepared and planned for the meal. So we love the healthy plate. Exercise is important. We don't talk about it that much, but we know that exercise is vital. It's mental health, flexibility, strength, mental health. I've said it, like that is huge. And we have a lot going on right now. So exercise, guys, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. And then, of course, we know that it helps with, the whole package of healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. These are some apps that we always promote. These labels, when you're eating out, you don't have the label, look it up. It's there. They have, you can find it, I promise. Okay, so our next one is November 11th. We're going to talk about the holidays. What? And we're going to get kind of mentally prepared for what that means. Because hopefully we're kind of getting out a little bit more, and so we can like hug maybe a mama or an aunt that we haven't hugged since December of last year because we've all been quarantining. So we're excited to talk about the holidays. Do we have any questions or anything that we needed to go over? We kind of ran over today, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. We're super excited that we have so many wonderful people that join us every month. Go ahead. So don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and our bcbsla.com/stronger-than to get some really good resources as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Whoop, whoop.